bread, rice, corn. Half the people on Earth are alive today because of a single chemical discovery. But that foundation is cracking. This is the story of the Nitrate Fortress, the global race for synthetic fertilizer sovereignty. In 1909, Fritz Haber and Carl Bosch unlocked the secret to pulling nitrogen from thin air. It was a miracle that fed billions. Today, it's a trillion-dollar industry. But the process requires an immense amount of energy, specifically natural gas. This created a dangerous dependency. A handful of nations now control the world's breath, the fertilizers that keep us fed. When natural gas prices spike or borders close, fertilizer becomes a geopolitical lever, one used with devastating precision. Recent conflicts have exposed the fragility. When Russian exports slowed, the world felt a sudden, sharp shock in the food supply. For those on fixed incomes and pensioners, this isn't abstract geopolitics. It's the difference between a full plate and an empty one. The economics are simple, but brutal. High energy costs mean high fertilizer costs, which lead directly to soaring food prices. China, one of the world's largest exporters, has repeatedly restricted shipments to ensure its own domestic food security. Meanwhile, Morocco sits on over 70% of the world's phosphate reserves. They are the gatekeepers of the southern flank. Control over these nutrients is now viewed as a matter of national defense. Without fertilizer, a nation's military might is irrelevant. Washington and Brussels are waking up. Massive subsidies are now flowing into domestic production to break the cycle of dependency. The race is on for green ammonia, using renewable energy to create fertilizer without the need for imported natural gas. But sustainability is a double-edged sword. Runoff from synthetic nitrates has created massive dead zones in our oceans. We face a paradox. We need nitrates to survive, but their production and use are choking the very ecosystems that sustain us. For the farmer on the ground, the choices are disappearing. Costs are up, regulations are tightening, and the climate is shifting. And at the end of this long chain is the pensioner. Every geopolitical maneuver in the fertilizer race eventually lands on their kitchen table. Nations like India are investing billions in nano-urea, a more efficient, targeted way to deliver nutrients to crops. The nitrate fortress of the future isn't a wall. It's a decentralized network of high-tech production. Just as we have strategic petroleum reserves, nations are now considering strategic nutrient reserves to buffer against shocks. The competition for sovereignty is fierce. It's a race for technology, for energy, and ultimately, for survival. The energy transition and the fertilizer race are now one and the same. To secure food, you must first secure clean energy. But in a world of sovereignty, what happens to the nations that can't afford to build their own fortresses? The digital divide becomes a nutritional divide. For many parts of the world, high fertilizer prices aren't just an economic headache. They are a precursor to social unrest and famine. Even the Arctic is part of the race, as new shipping routes open to transport the minerals and energy required for future production. Protecting the maritime choke points that carry these nutrients is now a top-tier geopolitical priority for every major power. When you dig into the data, the picture is clear. We are entering an era where fertilizers are as critical as semiconductors or oil. Global markets are already pricing in this new reality. Investors are shifting capital toward companies that can provide secure nitrates. The next breakthrough might not come from a factory, but from a lab. Engineered microbes that allow crops to fix their own nitrogen. This could be the ultimate fortress, making every individual seed its own nitrate production facility. A total revolution in sovereignty. From the gas fields of Siberia to the mines of Morocco, the race for fertilizer sovereignty is reshaping the world order. But let's not forget the human cost. Behind every statistic is a family trying to afford their next meal and a pensioner feeling the squeeze. The real nitrate fortress shouldn't be a weapon of war, but a safeguard for global stability, a foundation that doesn't crack. The path to sovereignty is long and complex, but it is the only way to ensure that the miracle of 1909 continues for the next 8 billion. The geopolitical race for synthetic fertilizer is just beginning. In the Nitrate Fortress, the stakes couldn't be higher. If you found this deep dive into global food security valuable, please like and subscribe for more investigative reports. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next investigation.